welcome to In the Pits. Now, joining us today is Jason from 4 Wheel Parts and Performance Centers right here in Portland, Oregon. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you
glad
stopping
to be here.
by. We wanted to talk about our new partnership with 4 Wheel Parts and Performance Center. We're going to be doing a project vehicle throughout the year 2007, and we were glad to have you come on. We wanted your expertise and all the things that you do. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do down there.
We do a lot of installs, anything four-wheel drive, performance kits for diesels, lift kits, gears, lockers, winches, anything to get you out a little farther or get you back.
Hey Jason, one of the things I wanted to ask you is when you're out there getting started in wheeling, you got to look at the different types of terrain. There's sand, there's mud, there's all kinds of different things out there you can get into. How would you attack, say, sand different than mud?
Well, I mean, sand, it's all about the flotation. As long as you've got a fairly wide tire on a narrow rim, you can air down, as much as you're comfortable with. 6 pounds, 8 pounds, as long as, it's not a 16.5 wheel. Those, you pretty much shouldn't even be off the road with those anymore. But versus mud, it really depends if there's a bottom to it. You're going to go with a little higher pressure so you keep a little more ground clearance. If it's real soupy, you're going to almost treat it like sand where you want to stay up on top. Same thing with snow. You treat snow about like you do with sand. You know, it's all about staying up top.
It seems like it's a lot about wheel spin. When I went to Mudfest is where they take a lot of these new vehicles and they don't let you trick them out. These are stock vehicles with stock tires and wheels.
Yeah.
And to get anywhere in the mud, it's really about wheel spin. All these new vehicles had traction control, dynamic stability.
Right.
You really kind of switch that stuff off when you get out into the, as you put it, the soup.
Well, you pretty much have to, and it's the same thing, it's like going out in the sand. You come down a big hill and you try and stop, and the ABS just freaks out and you don't stop. The only way to stop in sand is to anchor the brakes and dig in a little, and it's freaking out, not knowing what to do, so it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it can be a little bit. Now, is there ways that you guys know how to kind of help with the newer vehicles and what to install to make that work a little better with today's technology?
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you do a limited slip, anything like that, it's really going to take away a lot of the work the truck does because the tires are going to be working together in the back or in the front. That's probably the biggest difference that you can make off-road is going with differentials.
Well, Jason, I have to think that if someone went to 4 Wheel Parts and Performance Centers, that if they were looking to get into this lifestyle, they could go to you with a criteria list of what vehicle to buy and what you might recommend based on what they need. Is that a service you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we get calls from guys, that are kind of looking, they'll ask questions, and it's kind of like, what are you going to use it for? What do you expect out of it? You want something that's going to drive really nice on the street? Well, you lean towards this. If you want something you can go out and flog all weekend, you lean towards, like one of the best things around still the Jeep Rubicon, straight axle front. They're hard to beat, versus a lot of the other trucks with IFS. It's a lot harder to get those to work well, but, it's just one of those things to give us a call or come in and just, you can kind of go over what you're looking for, what you want to spend, and then you can kind of go that route and kind of figure it out.
Now, I'm sure there's clubs and whatnot. I'm sure you guys are probably hooked up. We have a lot of clubs that are on the website. We have a link to you guys. I'm sure that you guys have a lot of clubs and activities that come through the shop. What are some of those?
Oh, we got like the diesel dyno days for the guys that want to go down and see what kind of power their truck puts down, and trash talk. Those are great, and then they got like the Pacific Northwest 4 Wheel Drive Association. And they do runs ranging from, just your basic almost gravel road on up to as hard as you want it to be. So, I mean, you can go out with those guys and kind of learn, like an easy trail, you learn what a stock vehicle is capable of, and you can kind of see what, how far you want to take it, basically.
And how much money you want to spend.
That too.
Is there anything that you could think of that would be the biggest recommendation you could say for someone that's getting started in wheeling to do when they're getting out into the open?
Talking to people and just kind of maybe going out with a group so you can kind of learn, watch what other guys do. I mean, the biggest thing anymore that a lot of people will know about is airing down. You drive with 35 pounds of air in the tires on the street. Well, as soon as you hit off-road, you drop down to 10 or 6 or 8 or 2. It depends what you're using it for, and that's the only way you're going to learn that really is going out with people.
Now, for those that don't understand, what is exactly what you're talking about there? Kind of explain that. What you're doing is you're letting the... Go ahead.
Oh, basically, as you air the tire down, the footprint gets longer and it gets wider because it gets flatter. So you get a lot more flotation, a lot more traction. You got a rock here. If you got a tire with a lot of air in it, it's not going to grab or roll over it. Whereas the tire's aired down a lot, it'll wrinkle over that rock and then grab it and pull it over.
Okay, well that makes sense, yeah. Just the little tips and tricks that you got to learn, and we'll learn a lot more of those as the year go by. Now, One of the things I have to say is I'm really happy to have you guys on board. 4-Wheel Parts and Performance is right here located in Portland. They're going to be helping us trick out our project truck as 2007 goes on. And once again, hey, thanks Jason for coming by. And I think that's our first in the pits for 2007.
Thanks for watching The Fuel Show. We're here every Sunday at 12:30 on Portland CW, or you can visit thefuelshow.com. You can also catch all of our old episodes on YouTube. Next week, we're going to take a look at hybrids, the Toyota Camry hybrid and the Honda Accord V6 hybrid. So join us then, and don't forget, fuel is nitrous for your mind.